Welcome to Silicon Valley Asian Business Talk.
Hello, everyone. This is Roger Chen from University of San Francisco Center for Business Studies and Innovation, Asia Pacific. Anita, welcome to join our interview program. We want to first thank you for supporting us. Would you please briefly introduce yourself?
Thank you, Roger, for this opportunity. My name is Anita Manwani, and I have been in Silicon Valley for many, many decades, way before some of the freeways were in place. But my story kind of goes back a long ways. I came here as a student, and now currently, I'm the CEO and founder of a lab information management solution software company. The company is called Relims. We are doing business as Relims, though we started out as Karobar Business Solutions. And prior to that, I was a senior executive with Agilent Technologies and Hewlett Packard. And prior to that, I was in a startup in a robotics company. And I have two hats. My other job, which is a voluntary job, is the president of TAI Silicon Valley. And TAI has been around for 30 years. So we'll talk about that, later on in this conversation.
Discussion topic: lessons, transition from corporations to startups.
What are the lessons or, the wisdom you would like to share, and also the challenges for people to transition from the corporate world to the startup world? What's your advice on that?
It is a change. I think in my case, I've enjoyed the journey completely. Mm-hmm. I think the big change from the corporate world is, as an entrepreneur, if you're used to, being an executive in the corporate world, or even, being even as an engineer and an individual contributor, you have a lot of resources available to you. Mm-hmm. Someone else is worrying about the paycheck. Somebody else is worrying about administration and taxes. Someone else is thinking about, as an engineer, you're probably only thinking about, okay, what is the solution that I have to come out with? But somebody else is worrying about product market fit. Somebody else is worrying about, selling and support and maintenance and all of that, right? Or if you are in selling, if you're in marketing and sales, somebody else is worrying about the product and giving you a product to sell.
Yeah.
But as an entrepreneur, in the early stages of the entrepreneurship, you, your co-founder, your small team has to really wear multiple hats and be able to do all that and to be able to learn all that. You may not like to do your own taxes, but you have to at least understand it, so that you can send your statements to your accountant who might help you do that, right? And as trivial as it may sound, these are big shifts. There are, so many, on the administrative side, there's stuff you have to do. You have to worry about payroll. You have to make sure that there is enough revenue. You have to worry about your cash flow. It's not, there is no umbrella. And whether you have somebody else's money or your own, when you have someone else's money, if you're venture backed, if you're angel backed, honestly, you have more responsibility because it is somebody else's money. They have entrusted you. So you've got to make sure that it's not just your product development. It's not just finding those customers, but it is that whole, soup to nuts of running a company, however small it is, has to all be efficient and cost efficient. And you can't be spending too much time on admin and less time on sales, or and not enough time on your administrative process, because the state government is very, very quick to slap you with late fees and penalties if you don't submit certain forms in time. So, of course, all of this is outsourceable. So, but you have to know that you have to do these things. So there is that, taking the risk and on all those fronts, and stepping up and making a commitment that the buck stops with you. Much more. There is nobody else who's going to fund, who's going to step in and take care of that. As a team, you have to do that all within yourselves. And I think being persistent is a very big part of being an entrepreneur, because I see a lot of failures. You got to get used to being told no, or you got to get used to somebody saying, no, this isn't working. I thought it was this, but it's not X, it's Y. Therefore, I don't want to be, buying the product when you spent, maybe 2 months kind of, going over it. So you have to get used to no, you have to get used to falling. A lesson I learned from my father, who's no more, is that, when you fall, don't spend your time thinking, why me? Why did this happen? Or just brush your knees and start running again. And as an entrepreneur, that lesson has, stayed with me. And so I think those are some things that I think an entrepreneur needs to do, but also making adjustments. You may have come up with your product idea based on, the research you did, the conversations you had. Sometimes the market moves faster, or the market doesn't move the way you expected it to move. And so you have to make adjustments. You have to be, as an entrepreneur, you can't just, there's focus, which means you have to have blinders on, but there's also the ability to have eyes in the back and be kind of cognizant of what is happening around you. And that's tough. And we can't do that all the time because you've got to run your business. So, but you have to make time sometimes for those things as well.
That's great. These are, actually very, very good points. And, talking about the differences. Maybe you already covered that. Do you, either personally experienced or see other people made some kind of mistakes as they transition from the corporate world to the startup world? Beside, actually the differences you talk about, which are very, very accurate. Yeah.
So, yeah, personally, I never had to worry about payroll. I never, but of course, those are basics of business. When you manage your P&L, even in a company, you know what your cost structure is. You know that, so X number, if it's, 2,000-3,000 people in your P&L, then you know what the cost is. You have all of that, but you're not worrying about cash flow. Where in HP or Agilent, there is a bank that is going to give me the money, right? And it's going to get allocated to my divisions. But I think that that is a big lesson that you learn very quickly, the focus on cash flow.
Oh, okay.
And also, what is the capital that you have to have in store just to have viability for a few months if things go down, right? That planning for risk. And so that was something that, you learn very, very quickly is cash flow management. For me, that was something I learned very quickly that again, my lessons were a little easier because it was a service business. So you don't lose money in that. It's easier to manage. But, once we pivoted to being just a product business, that was more of a challenge initially. The other mistakes that one can make is, you don't have an army like you do as an aspiring entrepreneur. And in the early years, you don't have the luxury of a lot of people. So within the company, so you have to also seek people outside your company in your industry to learn from them. And even if they're not in your industry, just talking to other mentors and successful entrepreneurs, you get ideas that may not have been ideas from within, because everybody has their landscape. So I think just putting some effort in that. And I think in some of my early years, I didn't put enough effort in that. And so that's something that then you learn quickly and you start to do it. And you seek for those, mentors in your space who, give you information either about the industry or whatever you're looking for to, where the gaps are. Persistence, and risk taking, I think, are my two mottos.
Thank you for watching.